Oh yes, yeah! Oh! First of all, thank you for clicking on the video, and as always, we need to thank our sponsor, Surfshark. It doesn't matter where you access the internet, it's super important to protect yourself. Surfshark VPN encrypts all your data, including your bank information, so the bad guys can't access your details. Surfshark allows you to access restricted content. So say you're a Netflix user in Canada and you want to watch the US version of Netflix. You can. You can also change your IP address to access better prices. So say one country is offering better prices and better deals on certain things like airfare, switch your IP. Voila, instant savings. It'll also help you get rid of those annoying targeted ads that seem to follow you around after you search for something. Best of all, there's no limit on the number of devices you can install this. There's a full 30-day guarantee and there's no logs. Nobody's gonna know what you're surfing, not even Surfshark. Enter code WOODBEARD down in the link below and you're gonna get 83% off plus 1 month free. Listen, Surfshark's helping me make content for you guys. You guys go down there, support Surfshark. Hey guys, we're in the back 40. The cabin's way up the way, and we're gonna make a trail eventually. I don't know if we're gonna get it all done in this episode, but we got some property markers. We're gonna go.
First step. The first step in making a trail is you got to find out where your property is. So we're looking for the property line, the ancient property line, probably 100 years. There's a fence line that grew. There used to be pasture, so there was a fence line that grew. They put up a fence line down here and we're looking for it.
So apparently this is Kevin's channel here. So that's, I don't know if we'll start this or not, but we're definitely gonna get some stuff done. I have to go check out the pond later because I got access to the old pond again. So I wanna see my fish are alive or dead. See, make sure the aerator's still on.
So this is what we're looking for. This is the needle in the haystack. This is old fence wire and it's running through the bush in a straight line. I've got a little app on my phone that's sending me generally in the right direction. I'm looking for this. I'm putting these fluorescent stakes at the property line, and the idea behind the property line is because I don't want to make a trail on somebody else's property. That's no bueno. It is a wire. It looks like a stick, but it's not.
So the chances are good that used to be, you know, some kind of pasture field or whatever. You can see this little old cedar fence row here, and the wire is attached to it here.
That's a tree.
It's not a tree. Look, there's a wire right there.
Where's the wire?
Right there. See it? Attached.
It's on the post.
I know it's attached to the post. All right, so we're not looking for that exactly, but we are looking for the fence that's on the ground.
I think the fence is long gone, just the wires left.
Anyway, here it is laying on the ground here, and it's gonna keep going that way, all the way through the bush here. I don't know if you guys can really tell what kind of bush this is, but it's bush. You really can't get to the far side of the property, which is actually incidentally where all the animals live on the other side. So I've been hopping the creek over there. The idea would be to get some kind of footpath, which may develop into like an ATV kind of thing. So we're headed that way. He's got a rope here set up. It's going from post to post. It's kind of get an idea of a straight line. Anyway, you can see more of that old property fence line here. Kevin's got it kind of marked out before we got here. So we're just gonna unhook that, and then we're gonna leave it on the ground, and we're gonna go catch up. Obviously got Holden here. He's carrying some of the markers. We got 9 markers. We're gonna put them about 50, 100 feet apart. All bush up here, and it's all blowdowns in here, which is good habitat for deer bedding and stuff like that. But if you can't hunt them, there's no point in having all this here. Check out this tree. It I don't know, must have rotted or blown over. It's big giant root ball here. See how the perspective on this, like look how big that root is. It's the size of my hand, and it just got completely blown over. Look on the other side, it's a collection. It's got 3 trees all smooshed together. Pretty gnarly, man. Look at how big this thing is. That's kind of the life of these trees in the swamp here. Here's a spring wild edible. It's called a trout lily. Comes up in the spring, obviously, because it's the only time in the forest we can get enough sunlight. And if you dig it up, the bottom has a bulb. Now, some people don't like the taste of the leaf itself. It kind of makes your throat tickle. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but the bulb itself is pretty good. It tastes kind of like very plain root, but you probably want to wash this off pretty good before you eat it. I'll eat the leaf, just to remind myself of spring.
Did you get a permit for this?
Yep. Jeez.
Sketchy.
Not sketchy. So we got that puffball mushroom that we've left here. So those giant puffballs, Now it's all powdery, so the spores want to escape. So the best thing we could do now is just let the wind carry it. So just bang it off a little bit. I don't know if you can see the spores taking off or not, but those will all make individual little puffballs, mushrooms for next year. Make sure you don't breathe them. I don't know how super useful that was because we ended up lost in the swamp again, and then Kevin's GPS wasn't really letting us know where we were, so we ended up turning around at my tree stand. We got most of it marked out. We can start working on the trail a little bit, and we'll just have to figure out where we want to cross this creek. We've got a little bit of water accumulating, but it's still escaping. Doesn't seem like there's a beaver around, but I will be able to check my cameras over here, show you guys that stuff right now, let you know if we got any activity. I would highly doubt there's any activity now, because this thing's still flowing, and beavers hate the sound of flowing water. They don't like that sound. They usually get working on it right away. I'm actually gonna pull these cameras now today, because I think I've got the intel I want and need out of the spot. I'll move these over to the new pond to see if we get any new predators coming in when we start putting in our new fry, because we don't want to have any muskrat or otter in there decimating those very vulnerable fish. And of course, we may have a heron or 2 or 3 come in there and try to start picking them off, because they're very valuable to us. Of course, they're valuable to the heron, but I don't really care all that much about the lives of herons. They can get fish somewhere else, not my fish. Alright guys, we're back at the cabin. We do finally have a plan to make another pond down here. So we're gonna clear this area out. I don't think it's gonna be a big trout pond or anything like that, but it's probably gonna be something akin to like a frog pond or a turtle pond. We could probably get ourselves a little snapping turtle. I don't know if the snapping turtle will stay here. Imagine if it's well fed. It probably will. But you can see we kind of messed around a little bit down here before, and there's a nice puddle here. It's always pretty wet down in this little spot. So we figure that if this area, I mean, we'll probably keep that big cedar tree. It's a nice big cedar. But that might form kind of the boundary edges, and then we can pull all the dirt up on the hill or push it all back down, and that way we can have a pond. I don't know how big it'll be, maybe 6 feet or so in the middle. So I think that'll be a cool project. We're not gonna do it now, but we can clean up this over here, and we're gonna try to salvage as much of the wood as we possibly can for build projects. Kevin's gonna fire up the chainsaw for me and show me how it works. All right, that's my brand new baby. What was it worth? Like 350 bucks?
No.
More than that?
No.
450?
Like 200 tax in.
Really? It's a cheapy one?
Yeah. You gotta start small. You gotta see. Look how small that is. That's a tiny little chainsaw.
I just wanted a small one so they could bring it into the woods maybe.
Yeah, this is MS-170. It's a homeowner saw.
Does it go?
Only you got to make those sounds while you're doing it. He's never operated a chainsaw before, so he's never even watched a video. So it's gonna be blind teaching the blind. Okay, where are you cutting? Where do you primarily try to cut? No, you try to cut right here. You always
down there.
The little teeth that are here hold the wood in place. So you basically rock it back and forth. Primary cuttings here. You try to stay away from the nose of the bar. The reason why the nose of the bar is so small on homeowner saws is because this is the dangerous part of the saw. So what happens, and maybe not with this particular saw, but when you get bigger saws, the nose gets bigger. The bigger the nose, he's impressed. So what happens is when you touch stuff on the nose of the bar, it has a tendency to kick you in the face, like this. So that's why they make little homeowner saws, the tip's so small, so that the tendency of kicking you in the face is less.
I saw a picture on Facebook this morning of a person who had their face,
because it kicked them in the face. So a bigger saw, if you look at my saw, the nose is considerably bigger. And if you touch, so this little part from the middle of the saw to this little triangle here is the danger zone. So if you touch this little part, it has a tendency to kick you in the face.
What about the bottom part?
That's okay, but you'll find you don't want to cut with the tip of the saw all the time. You can nip it, but this part, top part of the saw, is where it tends to grab something and kick you in the face.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm agreeing.
So what you do is you hold your saw like this, when you start it.
I don't think that sounds right.
Yeah, you hold it like between your legs, and you pull.
I'm gonna pull on this.
No.
You shouldn't goof around like that.
Why?
People,
They're gonna tune in right then and there.
don't do that.
Don't do that. You hold like this. You put it between your legs, and you pull like this. So you gotta make sure it sticks out the back.
I'm gonna pull it out, rip your
And then
pants.
you pull. Well,
I want to cut something.
you want to cut something?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I
here,
guess so.
here, I gotta get up here to actually see. So the proper way to start your saw is there's a choke on here, and you read the manual. Put your foot in there and you hold it firmly with your hand. And then what you want to do is you pull. This saw has never been started.
It's been started once. We started it. You're just weak. Get some gas in there.
Is there a prime on here? She doesn't burp. There it goes. Okay, so after it burps, you put the little thing up once. Put your foot back in.
That didn't sound right.
Let it warm up a bit. We stopped it now.
Okay, maybe tell people about that without all the noise.
Noise? Okay, so this is the chain brake. Now this is designed if it kicks back and your hand slips off, it hits it forward and it stops.
So that it doesn't hit you in the face.
Well, because when it hits you in the face, it's not moving, it just hits you in the face. You don't want it moving when it hits you in the face. So what you do to reset is you pull back and that releases spins it. But if you slip off your hand and you hit it and it stops it, so it doesn't hit you in the face.
This is really not the tutorial to learn how to use a chainsaw.
Why are we teaching people how to use a chainsaw?
You're teaching me how to use a chainsaw.
Well, trial by you should just use it and see if you can figure it out. No. That's how I learned.
That's not a good way to learn how to use something that might
Maybe you should watch a YouTube video.
cut your I'll watch this one and I'll know what it is. This is not a tutorial on how to use a chainsaw. That's your disclaimer. This is
a brother teaching another brother how to use a chainsaw. Don't cut your face off.
after this really bad tutorial from a non-expert, I'll go watch some actual YouTube channels professing to be chainsaw
I've been
experts.
using a chainsaw for 15 years, and I have my face, and my legs, and all my fingers.
But you're not a certified teacher of chainsaws.
I'm not. I'm probably gonna get a letter in the mail from OSHA or something.
Okay, talk about the PPE, because that's really popular now.
So here, put those on.
Right. At least it won't cut my eyeballs out. Should I take the plastic off?
Well, that's so satisfying. Get real close. ASMR right there.
I feel safer already.
It comes with a manual. I bet you if you read this thing, I bet you if you actually looked inside here, it would probably, like, it tells you how to cut trees. Like, it's amazing what you can learn by reading this thing. It shows you use low kickback chain, you know, exercise particular caution when you're using the thingamajigger right here. Brakes on. Put your foot in there.
The foot don't fit.
You gotta put it on first. Okay, well, we'll go half choke. No, it's just gonna burp.
Just pull?
Yeah, pull. Okay, well, now the burp, the first burp, and then you move it to half choke. Now it's ready. Okay. Hey, now what? Push it back, or pull forward? Hold your hand. Use your finger. Hold your hand. You have to hold it down. Don't hold the trigger. Pull that back. Watch your hand. There you go. Ready to go.
I'll pull at the same time?
Yeah, this is your safety, and then that's your trigger. Okay.
Okay, that's how not to use a chainsaw. Made some cabin coasters. Nice outfit.
You got your safety equipment?
The PPE?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Old man drink.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, very sure. I was actually, one of my high school teachers was, I sent her a link of the maple syrup video, and she was watching it, and I guess her husband, Ron, hi Ron, is an arborist, and he's a retired arborist. He worked for a hydro company, and he was like, you know what? I really had a problem with your PPE, and I was like, well, it's gotta get her done. So today I'm full PPE. I got my safety glasses. I've got my actual glasses. I don't even wear glasses. Got my helmet. Let's take the helmet, earmuffs, things. The only thing I don't have is safety boots. I'm gonna try not to cut my foot off. We're in the middle of firewood season, so I've already been cutting, and I found usually you find a nail or a screw or a bolt with a brand new chain. This one I've been fortunate that I found it with a somewhat old chain, so I just gotta sharpen it up so I can get going.
All right guys, we're gonna get the chainsaw set up, and we're gonna clear out the front area here so that we're ready to put the pond in, and then we're gonna save whatever good wood we can, set that aside for another build project. So let's get cutting.
Well, I gave you all my love, and I gave you all my trust, and I gave you everything that you need. But you only told me lies, and you made me realize that, babe, you ain't no good for me. I can't be with you, you can't be true. And I know just what I got to do. Gonna hit the ground running, running, running just as fast as I can. Gonna hit the ground running, running, running just as fast as I can. Well, you're begging me to stay, but I'm going my own way, and the skies ain't looking cloudy or gray. I won't even roll the dice so that you can't play me twice, no babe. Who do you think I am? Well, I'm gonna take my own road, and I'm sorry, baby, you can't go. Gotta hit the ground running, running, running just as fast as I can. Gotta hit the ground running, running, running just as fast as I can. Well, I know you say you're sorry and that you'll do right, but babe, who do you take me for? Yes, I see you crying, but before those tears are drying, baby, I'm headed for that zone. Gonna hit the ground running, baby, I'm running, baby, I'm running, 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 running. Gonna hit the ground running, running, running just as fast as I can. Gonna hit the ground running, running, running just as fast as I can. Gonna hit the ground running. Oh, running, baby, baby, running, running now. Running just as fast as I'm running, just as fast as I can.
All right guys, there's a job mostly done. I don't know, it's never done. There's always something extra you can do. We cut this big cherry tree down. I convinced Kevin to keep this slab here because I think it might be useful. He wanted to turn it into firewood, but I think that's a little bit of a shame. Although the other piece is still up by the sawmill, so we can still make use of that. As you can tell, it's pretty much cleaned up. We haven't cut any live trees. Some of the cedars where the tops are kind of messed up, we did clear out. So that down there is the area where the pond would be. The cabin, of course, is up on the hill. But I wanted to show you this really awesome habitat that we ended up creating. I don't know if you can tell how big this is, but it's a big pile. It's the size of, I don't know, probably 20 feet around, and there's lots of really tight spots down in there where cottontail will for sure love to hide. Maybe a raccoon, who knows. The wood pile too, any of the wood that was, you know, the right size for the wood stove we put up here. We'll burn some of the branches because those aren't good for anything. And we got a nice sizable wood pile here. So we probably doubled the size of our wood pile just from what's down there. Well, before spending a bunch of time digging this out, let's dig a little test pond, little mini puddle, and see if this is going to work out. So we'll dig a little trench here and we'll check it over the season as things dry out and we're able to dig here. Hole dug, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if it dries out and we'll see. I want to see what the edges do and if the soil will retain the edge, because we don't want it to collapse back into continuously. That's what tends to happen when you dig a pond. If you're doing your research on that, you realize really quickly that the landscape really wants to claim its original form. So if you dig a hole, everything on the edges wants to fall back in, and then if you don't have anything to hold it, like clay soil, the moisture will actually seep out of it. Thankfully, we have a lot of clay soil here, as we learned when we did our garden here, and it turned into pretty much cement. After it rained, it got real mushy, real slimy, but then it hardened like a rock, which wasn't very conducive to actually growing plants out here, which is why I haven't started a garden since. Although if we get enough of this canopy cleared out, I might be able to do some raised beds out here, but I do fear the animals will come in and eat it all. Kevin and I are talking about a future plan. We're gonna get, well, not get rid of the barbecue, but at least demote the barbecue. And maybe we're gonna put in a big rock oven? I don't know what you would call it, like an earth oven, but not out of earth, more out of stone. So we'll maybe use the pond dugout for those, for a source of rock. I think that would fit right there. That would be pretty cool. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing that project. I would be interested in doing that. I know it's been a hard road to get Kevin convinced on doing some other projects around here, because he's a pretty busy guy. His job isn't full YouTube like me. And then of course on this other side, there's lots of room for a project too. So I think like an enclosed, screened in porch would be pretty neat to take off this side here. It's a little short pitched roof, and then another kind of open area, but more screened in. That would be pretty neat. And we also talking about digging into the mountain here, the hillside here, and putting in a cellar, like a root cellar or fruit cellar. If you don't have any roots, you put your fruits in there, I guess. I wouldn't put my fruits in the fruit cellar. I'd put my roots in a root cellar. But maybe you guys do it differently back home. So we could dig into the side here and then have it underground, which would be a neat place to preserve everything and stop it from freezing in the winter, and in the summer stop it from spoiling. So we've got a couple projects up here. Just got to get the manpower, muscle, and ambition to get those done.
Break time. Egg sandwich.
Quality egg sandwich here.
The idea is to get the tractor through here. So what we've done is we've started from the cabin up the way here, and then we're going to go down to the creek edge, and then we're going to decide which way we're going to go, left or right on the creek, to get over past my tree stand and then up to the other tree stand. So we basically have to decide how we're going to get over the swamp. Cabin's here, and then the trail goes here, down there, over my shoulder. And we're purposely making this trail to be as natural as possible. So we're making it windy, but we're also going to make it more favorable to wildlife, and it's going to be less of an eyesore. Instead of making a straight line all the way through here, it's going to dodge the biggest of the trees, as you can see around me. And we're going to mostly focus on going through the dead stuff and leaving as much of the live stuff as we possibly can standing. And the animals will be able to forage on all the cedars that we leave down next winter, as well as all the new hedge habitat that also will create. A lot of this forest down here is not super duper useful right now to us or the wildlife. So it's going to be a win-win. Oh guys, we made it all the way to the creek. That's a long way. I don't know how long, but it's at least a couple hundred yards. How much work and effort this was, but it was quite a bit. I didn't think we were going to actually get all the way to the creek, but here we are. Obviously, we have to make some decisions here about how we're gonna get across it, so probably for another time, but probably some kind of bridge or something or other. The good news is that this bottom creek here is actually not mud. It's kind of like clay silt. So I can actually walk through it without sinking in it, which is a good thing. We'll free up some of this debris here, get a little bit better water flow, and then we won't have problems with flooding. This is probably one of the best situations we've had so far as getting across the creek, because other spots of it are pretty muddy. This one is not super muddy. For orientation, my tree stands are all that way, so we're going to go back up and around toward the tree stand, because that's where kind of the edge of the property line is, and then we can go up there into the hardwoods. There's lots of turkey over there. I heard them actually this afternoon, and so that's pretty cool. And then probably encourage some deer to use this run all the way up here to the pond, and obviously through here, just opening things up for them. And I think the turkey will come through here as well. We'll have to get the tractor in here at some point. All right guys, we're just gonna leave a trail camera here over the creek crossing. We'll see if we get any activity coming through here. Be interested to see if any bigger wildlife starts using this, like, you know, deer, turkey. I snuck into the pond, guys. I did it. Well, I didn't really do it. Just the restrictions have been relaxed, put that way, temporarily, maybe permanently. Anyway, I'm here. This is your update on the pond. The water's super high, super clear, and there's some giant fish down in there. I'm actually gonna try to catch one now, because we shouldn't have left that many in here all year. I don't know what's happening as far as the other ponds yet. I don't have any definitive answers from the other owners. I can't touch anything. I'm not gonna spread anything around. The fish look really good. I can see a couple swimming down here. They're all single. They're not schooled up or anything. They're just kind of cruising along. I'll get them schooled up with some feed here in a second, and we're gonna tie on lure and also have some worms for backup. We know these guys are super picky. They're super hard to catch. They're stuck on the pellet feed. The aerator is rocking it. This is the dugoutdo.ca. There's a link down in the description, and that water is pumping. It looks like a crystal clear mountain water lake. Look at that air bubbling up, and I can see those fish doing really well. The water is super high because this is based on the water table, so it'll drop as the season goes on, of course, into the summer months, but it looks great. It looks healthy. The minnow contraption's still alive, so let's go tie a lure on here. We'll drag it through the water. We'll see if we can't get something to go. All right guys, we're all rigged up. I'm gonna use this is typical like bass lure type stuff. I'm using Mystery Tackle Box in combination with Catchco, Carl's Bait. It's a new sponsor I'm trying out. I've convinced them to give me a shot on my channel. I know we don't do a ton of fishing on this channel, but we're probably gonna do a little bit more. So I've asked them if they'll sponsor me, and they said, yeah, we'll give it a shot, but it's really up to you guys if you decide you're gonna invest in this or not. So every month you'll get Mr. Tackle Box, and in it, you'll get all sorts of fun things. They sent me a bunch of boxes to kind of play around with. So, like I say, they mostly specialize in bass stuff, so they've got all different kinds of lures. They're all pretty freaking cool. So this would be a good idea for like a kid or an adult getting into fishing, because you don't really know what you need when you start, but it's nice to have a whole pile of things on hand. So that's a good subscription model. And then as far as Catchco, you can do your special orders. I'll put the links down below in case you guys want to check it out. But this is not sponsoring this video exactly, just a trial run like I said. But if you guys decide you want to, you want me to have, you know, a fishing sponsor, this would be the way to go. So we're gonna try this first. I'm not very super confident it's gonna work, but I want to try the lure out. If it doesn't, we'll switch to a worm. I dug some up from the garden this morning, and we'll see if they're biting today. I know they'll take some feed, but I don't want to throw any feed yet. I want to see how aggressive they are. So let's see if this works. I'm gonna switch over to the GoPro and take you guys over the pond. Here are those worms I picked this morning. I just grabbed them out of the garden, so they're not the big dew worms, but they're a decent size. I think they'll work. All right, I see a bunch of fish cruising here. Turn the GoPro on. See if we can't get ourselves a fish. Kind of curious to see how they're gonna react to this lure. If they're gonna chase it or they're gonna run away. Oh, it took it. It took a strike. No way. Really good for bass. It's got lots of good action on it. It's moving a lot. I could feel it thumping. I could tell the fish would notice it too. Wish it wasn't so windy. I could tell where the fish are and kind of how they're responding to this. I did see a couple follow, but I don't see them anymore. Come on, come on, you can do it. Nip it, 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 nip it. Oh yes, yeah! No, I lost it. Shoot! That was wicked. I took it. All right, so we got a chance here. I was just a light hook. Let's see if we can get a go. They're on it today. Come on, come on, come on. No. Okay, we got to get them on it a little sooner. Pond's a little bit short. I can tell that this thing's going to be super effective on bass. I freaking nailed it, and I can feel it vibrate really good. Well, they're not even looking at the bait anymore. They're tired of it. Shoot, I missed my chance. Oh! Well, maybe we'll try at the other end of the pond there, and we'll see if we can't get onto some different fish who haven't seen it yet. Oh, there's one forward. Yes, there we go. We got one. Shit, we got one. Freaking got one. Oh, nice fight. Nice fight. Nice fight. Oh, did it. We did it. Nice fish. We got one. We got one. I hope I got that on camera because the camera's falling down on the tripod. To get you guys set up here. That was freaking wild, catching a trout on a freaking bass lure. I never thought that would work, but here we are. I didn't need those worms at all. Nice. All right, that's a big one too.
It's my chaps.
You got some flow.
This is like you rave.
Okay, that thing sounds dangerous, so I'm not gonna use that.